Hello there. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have just received your Seint Makeup and you're wondering how to apply it. Or you've had your Seint Makeup for a while and you're wondering how to apply it. Either way, I'm going to take you step by step through the process of how to apply the Seint Cream Quad 4 palette that you might have received. Will teach you how to make your face three-dimensional. And you might have received a foundation shade. This is what we call the main highlight. In Seint, we call them highlights because they're more than one foundation. All three of these make up your foundation. So this would be your main highlight, your accent highlight, which would be a concealer, and this is your contour, which adds shadow and dimension to your face. And then you might have received a lip and cheek, or a bronzer, or an illuminator if you have the quad palette, or you might have your palette. If you have received this one, you probably have the illuminators, the bronzers, maybe some lip and cheeks. And on this is where I keep my powder, my setting powder, some powder illuminators, and all my basics. The 4 basics, well, this will be my contour shade that I will apply first. And this is going to apply a shadow, or it creates depth and dimension. And it goes around the perimeter of your face. You can either apply it with a brush or your finger. You just push it into your contour. The contour shades are more dense, so you have to apply a little more pressure when putting them on. Or you can put your finger in it and let it warm up. And I apply it just on the underside of my cheekbone to the corner edge of my eye, right in there. And you put it on the other side. And this is the blush bronzer brush. This is the one I usually recommend for all of the new customers. We have other brushes. And if you buy the cream makeup, I strongly suggest getting a brush because they are specifically formulated for cream makeup. They don't gunk up in when you put the cream on them like other brushes might also. On your cheekbones, you just push it in and press upwards just a little bit. You want it to stay mostly right in the areas where you've placed it. You don't want to swipe it all around your face. And the same thing goes for your forehead. You just press it up into your hairline and just leave it kind of in the places where you've already placed it. Blend where you've placed it. And the same thing goes for your contour on your cheek, on your jawline. You take it just under your ear and just place it where there's already a shadow. Just press it in. And if you have jowls, you can put it just on the teeny tiny on the top edge of the jowl. So that creates a shadow also. You can see, then you just blend it down your neck. You don't want to have that floating head. You can see how that side just creates a shadow. Gives you that slimming effect. And I'll apply this on this other side. Just take it down, apply a little bit on my jowl, and then blend it down my neck. Take your finger, push it in there, and just put a little bit of contour under your lip. And this gives you a really pretty pouty lip. Makes your lip look a little bit fuller, your lips. You can put it on the top side. And then you can take it and do it along contour your nose for a smaller, slimmer nose. If you have a nose that you'd like to make look smaller, blend it up and leave a little skinny strip down the center. You put it on the top edges of your nose, leaving a tiny sliver down the middle part of your nose. And I always put a little bit on the edges. And I'll go back through and blend. Same brush, on the denser side of the brush, I'm going to tap it in. This would be my foundation shade, which is a little bit darker than my skin tone. And I'm just going to lightly tap it in there. You can see, just takes a little bit, because trust me, a little bit will go a very long ways. And you press that everywhere that you haven't put your contour. Just press it in. And just press it where you apply it. Don't swipe it around. Just press and push it into your skin. And then I take it and lightly tap around the edges of my contour that I placed around my cheekbones just to blend it in. And this will give you good coverage because this is really pigmented, so a little bit will go a long ways. Trust me, you want to, little bit will go a very long ways. Less is more. Tap and press it into my forehead. See that I've applied the foundation shade, which would be my darker highlight shade, my main highlight, essentially everywhere but around my eyes and mostly down the center part of my face. Because I want to leave that untouched because this, my accent highlight, which will be the concealer, which you would call, provides coverage also. And it just takes a small amount, and I put it in down the center part of my face because it brings the light forward. And it draws attention to your eyes. I just tap it in. I take it from the corner of my eye up towards my temple. This gives you a lifting effect on the edge of your eye. You just apply a little bit on the outer and on the inner. And tap it and blend it in. And tapping motions is a lot better than the swiping, especially as you age, because your skin gets looser. So the swiping motions don't really work anymore. You can take this and use it as an eyeshadow primer also. And it just takes a very small amount. I keep repeating myself. And you can tell the difference. It just cancels out all that redness and those blue veins. And I didn't take very much. And you can take a little bit and go down the very center part of your nose, right between those two contours. I can blend that contour just a little bit. You just want to blend it where it sits. I'll tap into this accent highlight again. It just takes a small, tiny amount. I'll use that on this side as my eyeshadow primer. Tap it in. This draws attention to the center part of your face. It brings your light forward, so it makes your eyes kind of pop in. You don't want to apply too much because it'll kind of give your kind of that greasy look, and it'll define your pores also. You don't want to you draw attention to your pores for sure. And then you put a little bit underneath your contour on your cheeks, and it adds definition to your contour. Makes your cheeks just really pop. Do a little bit on this side, and tap and push and blend. In my marionette lines here, kind of make them disappear a little bit. This brush is the blend brush. It has a lighter fluffy side and a little smaller side. I like to use it around my eyes because it gets in those little places better, for me anyway. You can go through and just tap and blend it right where the makeup sits. You don't want to swipe and swirl it all around your face. You want to this cream makeup. You can blend more if it's too intense, or put more on if it's not intense enough. It's very versatile, and it's pretty simple and easy to apply. And that makes up my 3D foundation. I got my contour that goes around the perimeter of my face. It defines my face, adds shadow and dimension. And then I put on my foundation shade, which evens out my skin tone, and it kind of creates that blurring effect. And then I put my accent highlight down through the center. I used it as an eyelid primer, and that brings the light forward. It draws more attention to your eyes. If you received a lip and cheek shade, this is the one I'm going to use today. It's the Desert Sunset, and I'll just tap. You can use your finger. I usually start at the corner edge of my eye and go top part of my cheeks and up towards my temple. And that gives you a more lifted effect. And if you want to start here on your apples of your cheek, it's going to give you a fuller face. So if you want to give your face a fuller effect, then you do it there, or you can do it from the edge of your eye up. You just press it in right where you want it. Sometimes I even take it up here a little bit too. You can deepen the color by adding more. And then it doesn't look cakey. It just gives it that smooth, skin-like finish. So don't be afraid to experiment. I'll apply some of this to my lips. That's why it's called lip that I just created. You have your main highlight, which is your foundation shade, which you put on, and it blurs, gives it that blurring effect. And then you have your accent highlight, which would be your concealer, which you would apply under your eyes and on your eyelids and down the center part of your face. It brings the light forward. And this is your contour. You put it on the perimeter of your face, under your cheekbones, near your lips, and on your nose. And this provides shadow, and it creates dimension. And if you have a lip and cheek then you would put that, of course, on your lips and your cheeks. But if you had a contour or you've had a bronzer come, this is what we have several different bronzers. This is the one I use. This is the Bella bronzer. And the bronzer creates warmth. So you would put a bronzer everywhere the sun would normally hit your face. On the top parts of your cheeks. Some people put it across their nose or along your forehead. And it just creates a little bit of warmth. It's kind of like tan in a tin. You can put it down your neck. I usually take the fluffy side of my blush bronzer brush and do that. And that's the Bella bronzer here. And then if you also got an illuminator, this is our powdered illuminator. This one is called, let me see, Glamazing. And I'd like to put that on my Cupid's bow. On the center parts of my lips. Kind of just gives it a pow. And this is all personal preference. You don't have to do this. I put it up here. Kind of gives your face just that lit from within glow. On the top side of my cheekbones. I try to stay away from the wrinkles in my eyes because you don't want to accentuate your eye wrinkles. And then sometimes you can put it down the center. You can put it down the inner corners of your eyes. Kind of gives them a pop in your brow bone. And there you have it. You have it. That's my whole face. The 3-dimensional, 1-layer makeup, all in one palette. On my 3rd layer, I have my setting powder. And if you tend to be a little more oily in your T-zone, I like to take the fluffy end of the brush and you can just add a little bit. It kind of gives you a little bit of a brightening look. And that side of the brush or this side. And just tap and press it into your, I do take it, if you were a glasses wearer, this is kind of nice to take it on the bridge of your nose right here. Kind of helps set that makeup there too. You can take it anywhere you put your accent, highlight. And this is totally optional. It's up to you. So whatever you prefer and however you find that your makeup sets. Your setting powder on your eyelids too. And this kind of preps your eyes for your eyeshadow. And it helps your eyeshadow blend better. If you have something kind of smooths out your eyeshadow primer. And then I just take and tap this shade on. I'm pretty sure this one's Bubba. The eyeshadow is called Bubba. I tap it in my outer corner and just above my crease. I'm doing it with my fingers just to show you how easy it is to apply. And these eyeshadows are really pigmented, so just a little bit will go a long ways. And then I usually take a shimmery shade and do it on the center of, right in the center of my eyelid. Underneath my brow bone. And on the corner of my eye right here. Once you can take an eyeshadow brush and just dip it in there and do it on the underneath side of your, I usually take it about a quarter of the way or 3/4 of the way in, out to my corner of my bead. On the other side. You can line your eyelids up here. All your makeup in one simple, easy to use compact. And if you have any questions, if something doesn't feel right or your makeup doesn't seem right on your face, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help you with any questions that you might have. And don't forget that Seint has a really good return policy. Also, you deserve to feel beautiful, and we have the resources and the tools to help you do that. So don't hesitate to reach out.